In this video, I would like to show you how you are expected to clean up at the painting center. After you've been painting, you will need to make sure that you have written your name and your class code in a corner of your artwork. This is very important, not to flip your artwork over when it's wet, because then you're just going to smear and mess up your painting. We don't want to do that. When you've written your name and your class code in a corner, you are going to first take your painting to the drying rack. Don't clean up your supplies until your artwork is safely put away. The drying rack is located right next to the painting center. I'm going to slide it right into the rack. It's now safe and sound, and now I can come back and start cleaning up my area where I was working. The first thing I'm going to do is clean up the easy things like the pencils, the watercolor pencils that I used, and I'm going to make sure I put them back facing the same direction so that we can see which ones need sharpening next time. I'm going to close this up and I'll bring this over to where they live. They live right over the watercolor paints. Right there. We'll just set them there. And then we're going to be cleaning up our paint palette, our sponge, our brushes, and our water cups. I'm going to bring this over to a sink that is open and available. First thing I'll do is I'll pour out my water. Give it a little rinse. It doesn't have to be very, very clean. We're not doing the dishes. Just a little rinse and stack it up there. That way we can let them dry easily. Next thing I can do is I can just put my sponge back. If there's a lot of extra water in it, I'll just hold onto the sponge and drip the extra water out. Again, these shouldn't be very messy because they are just used for wiping a clean paintbrush to check to make sure your brush is clean. I can then clean my paintbrushes. If I've got some mess on them, I'm going to just take my hand, put my fingers through the brush of the hairbrush here, the bristles I mean, of the brush. Make sure that the water is running clear, squeeze the water out, and then put them back in the brush cups here. The last thing I'm going to do before I'm ready to wipe up my table is put my tray away and then begin cleaning out my paint palette. A paint palette, if you want to get it done very well, and I do want you to do this well, I'd like you to take a green scrubby brush. There's one at every single table that has a green pipe cleaner, and it is painted green, so it should be easy for you to find. Those live at your paint at the sinks, and you're just going to use the paintbrush to get any of the extra paint off of your tray. It shouldn't take very long. I'm going to rinse that off. Hang it back up for the next person. Give it a quick little rinse. Make sure all the extra paint is out. Turn off the water. This sink on the end especially is a little tricky. You have to press hard to turn that water off. Let it drip for a minute, and then I can bring it back to where the paint palettes go. Right in there. You can stack them together. Please make sure that you never ever put away a messy paint palette. That makes for a very nasty surprise later in the day. Now, when you're cleaning, I have seen in the past, even this year, several people who just decide to get together in a big group of people and wipe lots of tables lots of times. I need just a few sprays of water to clean this. My whole table does not need to be wiped unless it is messy. Just a couple of sprays of water, not giving the table a bath, and I can grab a rag from the sponges here and open up the rag. You don't want it balled up in a little tiny ball. Just a quick, wide wipe. That's it. It should take seconds. It should not take you a very, very long time. You can put it back in here, and then you're ready to sit down and show me you are ready to line up.